Today, we will see how the chemoreceptors play their part in the process of regulating the respiration. So, first, we will note what is the chemoreceptor. The chemoreceptors are the receptors which gives response to the change in the chemical constituents of the blood, like when there is increase in the levels of oxygen, carbon dioxide, or the hydrogen ions concentration in the blood. They tend to fire action potentials towards the brain. So we'll note it down. So the chemoreceptors, so when there is change in the concentration of oxygen, right, O2, and carbon dioxide, CO2, and when there is increase in H plus, that is hydrogen ion concentration. And there are two types of the chemoreceptors. The first one is the central chemoreceptors, which are situated in the brain. So right, central chemoreceptors, which are situated in the brain. So we'll see the picture here. So here is the chemoreceptor, which is situated over here in the level of the brain. This is a zoomed in version of the pons and the medulla, that is the brain stem, and they are just situated below to the medulla oblongata, that is in the deeper part of the medulla oblongata, just close to the dorsal group of the neurons over here, or the ventral groups, just near to the nervous regulatory centers of the respiration. The chemoreceptors are present, and they lie in close contact towards the blood and the CSF, that is the cerebrospinal fluid. So we'll note down that the central receptors are present near the deeper part of medulla, just near to the nervous regulatory centers, and that region is called as the chemosensitive area. And how does this chemoreceptors stimulate? So the main stimulant for this central chemoreceptors are the increase in the hydrogen ion concentration. So increase in H plus, hydrogen ion concentration. This is when the central chemoreceptors tend to stimulate and fire action potentials towards the dorsal group of the neurons. So this is the main stimulant for the the central chemoreceptors. And how does this generally happen? How does the H plus concentration increases? So first, when we experience hypercapnia, that is during hypercapnia, so hypercapnia is the condition where there is excess of carbon dioxide levels. So right, excess of carbon dioxide, that is INC, which denotes increase in carbon dioxide levels, CO2. So when there is increase in the carbon dioxide level, the chemoreceptors should tell this information to the brain. So how does this information transpire to the brain? So when there is increase in the carbon dioxide level, what the carbon dioxide does is the CO2 tend to mix with the water and this produces the formation of carbonic acid, H2CO3. And the carbonic acid in general state is highly unstable. So this H2CO3 is very highly unstable, and this immediately dissociates into, so this H2CO3 immediately dissociates, that is they form again into H plus ions, into the hydrogen ions, and so if I put plus it would be confusing, so I'm just adding and the bicarbonate ion, that is HCO3. So during increase in the carbon dioxide levels, there is increase in hydrogen ion levels. So the chemoreceptors come to know that there is increase in carbon dioxide because their main stimulant, that is hydrogen ions levels, have been increased. So when they note that there is increase in the hydrogen ions, what these chemoreceptors do is they send action potential towards the dorsal group of the neurons. So they just tell to the dorsal group of the neurons that, hey, we need some more prolonged ventilation. So when the impulses reach the dorsal group of the neurons, so if you see my previous video, we know that the dorsal group of the neurons help in the inspiratory process. So when the impulses are sent towards the dorsal group of the neurons, then we can note an increase in the ventilatory process. So there will be a prolonged inspiration and the hypercapnia can come back to normal. So generally the increase in the hydrogen impulses, that is H plus concentration, provides the excitatory impulses towards the dorsal group of the neurons. The dorsal group of the neurons in turn increases the ventilation. So that is how the respiration is regulated by the central chemoreceptors, that is, which are present in the deeper part of the medulla. Now we'll see the second type of the chemoreceptor, and the second type of the chemoreceptors are the peripheral chemoreceptors. We'll see the peripheral chemoreceptors. So the peripheral chemoreceptors are present in the aortic body and the carotid body, so just above the heart. So we see the presence of the peripheral chemoreceptors. We see the aortic body over here, just above the aorta is over here, and next one is the carotid body, where there is branching of the external carotid and the internal carotid artery. Just exactly in that position we have the carotid body. So these two are the primary peripheral chemoreceptors. So we'll note it down that they are present in the carotid and the aortic body. And the main stimulant for the peripheral chemoreceptors are whenever there is decrease in oxygen, whenever they note when there is decrease of oxygen content, that is the main stimulant for these peripheral chemoreceptors. So that state is called as the hypoxia. So hypoxia is a state where there is decreased level of oxygen. So right, decreased level of oxygen. So during this stage, these peripheral receptors are made up of two types of cells, that is glomus cells and the sustentacular cells. We'll discuss only about the glomus cells because that is the primary cell which aids in the respiratory process. So whenever there is hypoxia, these glomus cells which are present in the peripheral chemoreceptors, they are served with the afferent nerve endings, are stimulated when they find there is low level of oxygen content. So glomus cells are stimulated. So we'll see the nerve endings in which these receptors are provided with. We can see the carotid body, which is supplied by the nerve of Hering, that is the Hering nerve. You can see it here, where the nerve goes to the carotid body, and the aortic body is supplied by the aortic nerve, which is over here, and we know that the aortic nerve is also a branch of the vagus nerve over here. So when the glomus cells are stimulated, the Hering nerve and the aortic nerve, that is the nerves which supply these peripheral chemoreceptors, tend to produce action potentials towards the dorsal group of the neurons in order to receive an improved ventilatory process. So when the glomus cells are stimulated, the impulses are sent to dorsal group of the neurons, dorsal group of neurons, and then we will have improved ventilation. So we can notice improved ventilation. So this is how the peripheral chemoreceptors tend in the regulation of the respiration.